Welcome to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. If you would like to support this channel, please hit the like button and consider subscribing if you enjoy the content. And now, let's start with the first story. It's called Overtime Denied. This happened many years ago. I was working for a large multinational, installing new hardware and software, and testing for a large client in San Francisco, California. San Francisco was a 6-hour plane ride from my nearest airport. I had to be in San Francisco on Monday morning, so I flew out Sunday morning, worked 2 weeks and flew home on Saturday. I spent a week at home and then the cycle repeated. This went on for 9 months, with 3 of us doing on-site rotation with 2 people always on site. The airport limo from my house to the airport was $80. On the first expense report, I claimed 6 hours of overtime for the Sunday fly out and 6 hours of overtime for Saturday to fly home, plus the airport limo. The overtime was denied. Why? Because I left from home and not the office. I lived closer to the airport than the office was. I lived 30 minutes from the airport. The office was 60 minutes from the airport. From the next Sunday, I took a taxi from my house to the office. The taxi from my house to the office was $80. So I took the airport limo from the office to the airport. The airport limo from the office to the airport was $140. Since I started my trip from the office, my overtime started from there. Time in the airport limo, time sitting in the airport, etc. Until I got to the hotel at the other side, everything accrued. On the next expense report, I submitted the taxi and airport limo expenses and billed 12 hours for travel time each way. All approved. I did this for 9 months and it got approved every single time. The next story is called Individual Mails. This is a short little story from a new job I've had for a month. I recently moved to a new state and got a new job managing an office in the medical field. Every morning, one of my responsibilities is emailing a list of patients by the type of appointment they had and the details of their appointment, called an encounter through records from the day prior. I separate documents by type of appointment and attach the files to a single email with the date. Having worked in records before, sorting by date and having subcategories for the type was easiest for me, and this is the way the new place trained me to do it. After about 2 weeks of doing it this way, I got a very abrupt, passive-aggressive email in response. Send encounters each in individual emails. Thanks. Angry records person. I tried to reach out for clarification. Do they want an entire list of one appointment type in an individual email? How the heck do you want it done? Just tell me. There was no answer to my question, so I just continued to send it how I was taught. Another week goes by, and I get another passive-aggressive email. For my last email, send encounters each in individual emails. No please, thank you, or response to my questions at all, so I maliciously complied. It took about 2 extra hours of my time, but I did as she asked and painstakingly sent each encounter in a separate email. 1 single encounter per email. That equaled about 60 emails back to back to back instead of 1 nicely laid out email sorted by type. 2 days of this and I got, please stop, you are cluttering my email. You may send me 1 email with the encounter types attached. Thanks. Angry records person. Yeah, I thought so. I continued to send the emails how I was trained, and I haven't had a problem since. The third story is called Follow the Script. Years ago, I worked at a call center doing tech support for a large company with multiple different services. I specifically worked on the UVerse service. In a call center of over 1500 agents, I had the fastest call time, the highest customer satisfaction rating and the lowest callback numbers. So I ended up being the target of a lot of audited calls to see how I was doing it. We didn't have any rules about goofing off like using accents etc. So I would see a local number calling in and drop my strongest southern drawl accent, or a New York number and give them the old Brooklyn attitude. Customers think take out something local and started chatting about local events, sports, etc. But I also never followed the script. Literally never. And this was unacceptable to management. Got a performance review with some audited call feedback. I needed to follow the script. Doesn't matter that I had the best metrics in the building. I needed to follow the script exactly. Sure thing, boss. Every call for the next week was in an Indian accent, and half of my calls hung up before providing any information. Guess they wanted to call back and try to get someone in the US. Feedback from management came down on a facility level. Absolutely no accents allowed on calls. Follow the script and no joking around. Sure thing. I followed the script to the exact letter. And when there was no scripted response, I repeated the last script again, multiple times, until there was an applicable script. All of this was in a perfect monotone voice with no accent. The numbers for the entire facility went from green on everything to red. The problem management didn't anticipate was that despite being there less than 6 months, I had learned how to fix tier 3 issues as a tier 1 tech. And I would fix all of these issues for other techs. Now, the script requires I escalate to tier 2, and they would have to escalate further. The call time average went from 9 minutes to over 25. Customer satisfaction tanked. Repeat calls skyrocketed because the script had us tell them to try something we knew wouldn't work and call back tomorrow. Management lost all their bonuses and they began asking me to train everyone and make some new scripts and get metrics back on track. I am sorry, that's not in the script. I'm only following directions. Done once again in a monotone voice. I walked out a week later for a job closer to home that paid more and didn't require dealing with customers. The call center closed 3 months later. The last story is called Blue Lights. I work for an online e-commerce company that shares its name with a South American rainforest. My job there is working in the problem solve department, making sure that you all get your packages and there aren't any problems with them. There are multiple problem solve areas in my building dedicated to solving problems with packages that go out to different markets throughout the US and some places outside of the US. I was working in the one area of the building called Southwest tonight. In that area, they just recently opened up more dock doors to be used to ship items out to even more markets. Most nights, the Southwest should be run by a minimum of 2 people. The keyword is should. That does not always work out, and most of the time there's only one person working back there. I work 2 separate shifts, 5 days a week, 7 PM to 12 AM, and 2:30 AM to 7:30 AM, Friday to Tuesday. I have had some issues with one of the day shift managers that usually comes in before my morning shift on multiple occasions. Things like disagreements on how different things are done. For instance, there's one department that is called oversized. We are supposed to take large heavy items to oversize so they can be taken directly to the individual trucks instead of being sent through the conveyors, but they could cause jams. We are also supposed to send thinner items to oversize also. Items that are too big to fit into our plastic bin and 2 inches thick or less. One manager doesn't believe items like the thinner items should be sent over to the oversized department. Now come tonight, and I am working back in the Southwest department, and it is going fairly decently despite working back there by myself. I had been gathering items on a cart to take to the oversized department throughout my shift. I just had not had a chance to actually take them over to the one department yet. The one manager decides at about 10:30 tonight that I should take all of the oversized items to their trucks myself, instead of taking them to the oversized department. When someone is not watching the conveyors for the Southwest, the line can get backed up and causes an annoying buzzer to repeatedly go off and a blue light to flash until it is cleared out. The longer it goes off, the more that it can cause the conveyors to the actual trucks to back up, thus packages not being able to go out. I waited until about 11 PM tonight and the line was pretty full already, but not yet full enough for the blue light to go off. Then proceeded to do as the one manager said that I should do. I made sure to work as slowly as I possibly could, taking the oversized items to each truck. Oops! One specific item had to be taken to our door all the way on the opposite side of the building. Pretty much I made sure that the department for that area did not have anything processed through that area for the last hour of the night. Really hoped that it was worth making me take all of the oversized items to their individual trucks and not actually being able to send out any other items off the building in that area. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and want to support me, please subscribe and hit the like button. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.